favorite sponsors. In fact, they're all our favorites, right? But,
right.
you know, so can you guess? I've got a hint for you. Can you guess who our sponsor is tonight?
Blogox.
No.
McMurray.
No.
Girlfish?
No. I'll give you a hint. It would be Baker Creek.
Oh.
So Baker Creek has been with us for quite a while. And they've always been so generous to us. And they've encouraged us to grow things that we might not consider growing. Take these peas, for instance. Last year, or the year before, we were growing just regular sugar snap peas, the Sugar Ann peas. They're your favorite, right?
My favorite.
Right, so last year we got a different kind at the suggestion of Jessica over there at Baker Creek, and she said they're absolutely beautiful. They're tendril peas. Well, we grew them last year, and I will tell you, they are now my favorite because not only are they tasty, they are beautiful while they're growing. They have these beautiful tendrils that go up, and they also have these gorgeous flowers before they turn into pea pods.
Purple.
And yeah, and some of them are purple, some of them are green with a little bit of a blush color to them. They're really pretty.
I'm surprised you even had some last year.
Another thing is carrots. So I used to not know how to grow carrots. Never grown carrots before. Or at least I had tried, but never succeeded.
Yeah, carrots were always a really touchy subject with us.
Yeah, because I could never grow them.
We never figured it out.
So, again, talking with Baker Creek, when we were there visiting, one of the ladies there said to me, she said, well, you know how you plant carrots? And I said,
No clue.
you make a little line, you put the seeds in, and you dust the soil on top. And she's like, nope. She said, literally make your line, drop the seeds in, and walk away. Water them in and walk away. And so I started doing that, and now we have great success with carrots. We've grown all different types of varieties. They're all tasty. They all do really well in raised beds, so we're very grateful for that.
The ox hearts are my favorite because they're like really huge.
Yeah, they're like really big. They're kind of wide and almost look like a heart, right?
Right. An ox heart.
Right. So then another thing, so this right here, I don't know if you noticed that, but we didn't do that intentionally. That was actually a volunteer pepper from last year. This is, I'm assuming, is poblanos because I think the poblanos were in here. And there must be probably 10 or so plants there. So we're gonna dig those guys up, put them into separate little cups and let their root structures kind of grow pretty strong. And then we're gonna move them into a couple of different beds. So we're excited about that. But that's one thing that I wanted to say about Baker Creek's seed is that it's so fertile and it does so well. All of their germination rates are incredible to the point that when you go to save seed, if you're not careful and seed, you don't collect it all and it drops on the side of a bed,
you end up with an oregano situation.
Not just oregano, no, I'm talking about the volunteer plants, like right on the other side of that, right on the other side of that bed. You haven't seen it yet, but there's Swiss chard over there. We had saved seed. And then there's mustard and collards over here growing because the seed just decided to start there and made its own home, right?
Yep.
So we're very grateful for Baker Creek. They've been super busy this past year.
Yes.
But I have found that being patient and waiting is well worth it because the quality of seeds that they have and their customer service is amazing.
It's like Brussels sprouts.
Yep.
We've never had success with any kind of Brussels sprouts. This year we had so many Brussels sprouts that we were eating Brussels sprouts with dinner.
Almost every night. That's right. And that and cabbage.
Yeah, cabbage too. We had our first, quart or couple of gallons of our sauerkraut that we grew on the farm.
That's exactly right. Yep. So we've been very successful this year with seed. We're looking forward to this growing season. We think it's going to be pretty good. So I think things are probably just about ready for the live stream. Go ahead and grab your glass of tea, buckle in, and we'll see you in just a moment.
Bye.
GoPro, stop recording.
What's going on, nation? And welcome back
To the big rooms.
to the homestead. I got a little sun today. Why is that? Why camera?
Because
Why?
we had it set up the
Why?
last time we had everybody here.
Well, that's not my problem.
It is your problem. You're the
It-
tech.
it
You're the
fixed.
techie guy.
It's fixed.
Baby, my shoulders are.
Look at I got some sun today.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it goes all the way up.
I'm wearing your shirt, so I look like I'm super like.
Buff.
No, like
Watch
it's an
yourself.
extra large
Watch yourself.
shirt, so I look like I'm
Watch
wearing
yourself.
a tent. He's got jokes.
So, who we have in here tonight? We got City Girl Country Heart, Mark, Ben's Over Acres, Duncan 1900, Ben's Over Acres.
Are you serious? Like you just now noticed that?
No, I noticed it. I'm just trying. I was trying to control my laughter with it.
Brando, what's up?
I'm still a
A teenage boy. Southern Ohio prepping. April. Jennifer. Let's see. That's everybody. And then Trip H.
I have not seen him in so long.
I know. It's been forever.
So long. Like, I don't know, 45 seconds?
Yeah. No. About 5 minutes.
It's been that long?
5 or 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually, to be completely honest with you, Terry, it is my nightshirt. We'll tell you why in just a moment. We didn't want to cancel on y'all for a second week in a row, so you get us in comfy clothes right now. We figured you would. We figured
That's,
you would.
look, I even had to put on Mama's slippers.
Those are my slippers.
Because the girls couldn't find mine.
Jujube planting some nasturtiums with y'all. Awesome. Ooh. I planted nasturtiums for the first time this year, and I have 2. I only planted 2 so far, and they've come up and they're starting to grow, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, so the last couple of weeks we have been trying to get the big garden done. And the challenge is that we still have to move dirt from one place to another.
Compost.
Sorry.
I worked too hard on getting that stuff set up for you to call it dirt.
I shouldn't even call it dirt. I should be calling it soil. But anyway, compost.
No, compost.
Anyway, so all the compost, moving it from different areas to bring it over to the no-till, has been very difficult because of how hot it is. And so being careful, having to kind of, take our time, not overwork ourselves, not get dehydrated, things like that. So you have to kind of do everything in stride. And so unfortunately, between that and then other things happening here and there, we've kind of gotten off schedule a little bit. So we basically decided the beginning of this week, we're like, this weekend we are gonna get it done. And so we started off first thing this morning, and we went until we just didn't have any wind left in us.
Well, we still had some wind in us, but the honeybees were like, y'all need to take a water break.
Yeah.
And something aggravated them. I don't know. Maybe the lawnmower kicked something over there to try to, because we were trying to reclaim our garden area. What's going on in the water right there? Duck.
Yeah.
Maybe the lawnmower kicked something up over there or whatnot, but they got kind of aggravated with us. And so they kind of ran us off. So we pretty much had to stop for the day.
Yeah, well, I had already... So one of the things about being on the road all the time is that my job makes me somewhat sedentary. So they're outside all day, every day, in the sun, in the heat, and they can handle it because they're acclimated to it, but I'm not. And I still try to keep up, but there comes a point where I have to stop and go, I can't help anymore. You can be upset with me if you want, which they never are. But it's time for me to call it quits. And I always push it still too far. Because I came in the house.
Push it too far.
Yeah, but I came in the house, I had a headache, I got into a cool bath, but I still had to drink a lot of water, and I had to take some medicine to be able to knock off the headache. So, I was pushing it. We almost did cancel tonight because I was like, my head is still not
Well, I
feeling
mean,
good.
everybody's been super busy. We're a part of a pretty tight-knit Marco Polo group.
Yeah.
And it has been silent this week.
Yes, everybody's been super busy because everything with gardening and all that, it's just, there's so much stuff to do. And last week we went to the nursery thinking it was going to be a 20 or 30 minute stay, and it turned into an all morning affair. We didn't get back here till 1 o'clock.
1, 2 o'clock, yeah.
And so we lost half the day on that, and so now granted, we got 2 videos out of it, but it still pushed us back on the planting stuff. And so I learned today, I was like, we are definitely going to make sure that we wake up first thing in the morning and we get out there before the sun starts beaming down on us and try and get all that done. So, yeah, so.
Speaking of being busy, there's Crystal from Capochetto Farms. Now, they have been super busy over there at her homestead. And she's put out a couple videos of making some stuff. And y'all really need to go and watch her. She's that close.
She's really close to her watch hours. Yeah.
And she blew up. She blew up from a couple of shorts, 2 or 3 shorts. And so she's got the subs down. But y'all, she really needs the nation to kind of file in behind her and
get her some watch hours.
Go to her channel before you go to bed. Hit play all for her. Let's get her some watch hours. She has a countdown going on. I think I seen it on Instagram.
318 hours
yeah,
left.
she wants to get it before
her birth. No,
June. Before June. And I really want her to get it before June. So if y'all can help her out. She's posted 285 hours left.
She's got
So we got about 20 people in here, give or take. Y'all, if y'all just go and watch some videos for her, she can definitely hit that goal before June 1st.
Yeah.
We had Roots and Refuge help us reach up when we were struggling to get to 10K. Mm-hmm. And a lot of y'all came from that thing.
Yeah.
And
see, that's something he can do.
Yeah,
we want to pay it.
We want to pay it forward, and we want to get Crystal monetized. So if y'all don't mind, I know I've kind of gone on about this a little bit, but it's not. I haven't gone on 285 hours worth yet.
No, not yet.
So don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
So Lone Star said they're flooded too. He said, I've been thinking about building floating garden beds instead of raised beds. Yeah, that always helps, Crystal, when you try to put, that's like the stuff with our garden that we've got going on, is we basically said it has to be done. We cannot push it any further. We have to get it done.
You got some corn planted today, which was good, and you'll get more planted tomorrow.
I'll do that. That'll be first thing in the morning. And then I think, based on the way the soil looks, what I was looking at, in that first row that's nothing but first oink or whatever, that's going to be nothing but corn. We're going to run nothing but corn in there because it needs to be able to be aerated and moved around, and those roots from that corn will do that. But then on everything else, we were originally, this morning, I was like, maybe we should just start some seed, still put them outside, but put them in containers so that we know exactly where they are when they pop up. Then we can transplant them over.
Hold on just a second. Lone Star, I will do that. It will only cost you
couple sheep. Yeah, couple sheep.
Like 6 of them.
That's more than a couple. Geeky Gardens. Yeah, so I don't know. I may go ahead and just plant directly in that other stuff that we've been putting out because it's not as hard.
No, there's no way that we have waited 1,000 corn plants last week.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Wow. That's awesome.
What were you saying?
I don't know. I'm blown away by 1,000. I'm trying to imagine.
I was saying we were going to go ahead and plant everything in those little things first before we put them in the ground.
Right, but I'm still just imagining
1,000 corn.
1,000 corn plants.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should be our
Amanda,
goal
how long were your rows? And how deep? How many did you like? Like we're gonna go 4 deep in rows.
And how many are you getting per row?
I didn't count.
Slacker. 1,000. That's like Children of the Corn level.
I'll give you one. She's been a pain in my butt processor since she's part of my breeding stock, but she's messing up fences. I hate when you have an animal like that. That was Daisy. Daisy always gave us great calves, but man, she gave us an ulcer too a lot of times.
Well, I mean, Freckles is that way.
Yeah. I planted that much so I could have a feed. Yeah, 150 in a row. Yeah. It's a lot of corn. Yeah, it is. But if you're,
see, that's our goal for next year.
Well, and to be fair, he doesn't know this yet, but the stuff that I planted is actually field corn. I'm waiting on my sweet corn to get here from Baker Creek. So I'm trying to do nothing but field corn in that first set so that we will be able to use it for feed.
Wow, so you just up in the game. That was the goal for 2022, and you were like, I'm not waiting.
Well, to me, it was like it was a God thing. I went to go grab all of our corn seed, and we didn't have any. And the only corn seed I could get my hands on that I felt okay about planting, that was non-GMO stuff, happened to be field corn. So I was like, well, it just means I need to plant field corn. So, and then I went ahead and contacted Baker Creek and got some sweet corn ordered. So it's supposed to be here like the 26th, I think, or 27th. So when it gets here, then we'll plant a couple of rows of sweet corn and popping corn and all that. So
I love our popping corn.
Yeah. So
she planted honey sweet
from Haas, but that's a hybrid. I know that because our feeding seed carries Haas seed, and that Trucker's Delight or whatever that I got, that's all Haas seed. So only problem with processing her is I haven't done sheep yet. Don't have a setup, and I'm being quoted processing it. Jeez. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so Niana, one thing that the guy told me, because this is the thing I love about our feed and seed. We have got such a good relationship with them that they'll take the time to talk stuff through, like today with the trace minerals. Like, they'll sit and take the time to talk something through with us, where other people are just like, sorry, we don't have it. Or when they're busy like they were today, they will. They'll just kind of, whatever. But when I was looking for the corn, I told Paul, I'm like, I don't want a hybrid. I don't want, all of that stuff. And he said, well, these are field corn. He's like, but I've eaten both of these, and they're not sweet corn, but they're still corn that you can eat on an ear of corn, and you will be fine. You will enjoy it. It'll be okay. So my backup plan was to just plant it in case I couldn't get my hands on any of the good sweet corn. We would just plant it and eat it. But now that I know what all I've got coming from Baker Creek, we will more than likely use that for feed. So oh my God, she planted all that by hand. Wow. What?
You can plant 1,000 years of corn by hand.
By the time we get done, I probably will have.
I'm thinking that I might get you that wheel thing. Like
I really want one. It's like $110 up at the Feed and Seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got all the little discs with the different sizes. I mean, I haven't looked at this at all, but it has the disc with all the different size seeds, so you can change out how many it distributes or whatever, something like that. Just like the little thing that you ride down and it splits, makes the row for you, the little cultivator thing.
Yeah.
Looks like this.
How's it go? Are you sure it makes that noise?
It does. If you listen really close, it goes.
And if it doesn't make that noise, I get to take it back?
Yeah. Because I'll be riding it and I'll go. Not riding it, pushing it. Like, all the way down.
That's a video all by itself. Just to listen to Robyn on the video going, shh. that way he won't take it back. Shh.
But yeah, so I think each one of those is like $110 each, I think. But I think that would be, there are a couple things that we've invested in over the last year or two that I'm really happy that we did get. One is that hula hoe. It's called a hula hoe, and it almost looks like a stirrup for a horse. Yeah, looks like the stirrup, and it's attached to just a regular handle, wooden handle, and you can hoe through everything going that way, and it does a fantastic job. That was a really good tool. And then the other one is that thing that I push down and turn it, and it goes. It's got like this claw on it. So this is funny watching me just struggle trying to talk about garden tools. But it's got like this claw on it, and it's got a handle, and you like push it down in the ground, and you like this. And if you make that noise, it works really good. You go, and it breaks up all the soil. And I think it's there. I think it's supposed to be good for like getting weeds up, like to tear up, weeds. But even with like some of our harder soil that we have that's been dried up in clumps, I'm able to go in there and kind of like break it up so that it turns back into soil instead of clumps. So those two things have made stuff a lot easier. So
we're also going to be venturing out this week in a new little adventure. I don't know how many of y'all watched the Holler's latest video. I think they titled it "Let's Talk" or something like that. Let's talk about it or something like that. Well, excuse me, y'all are just gonna have to excuse me tonight because I was out there cutting some tall grass, and I would hit it with the lawnmower and I'd just watch the pollen. And so I was like, I'll beat you, pollen. I'll just breathe through my mouth. And now it's all in like the back of my throat and down in my lungs. And it got kind of worrisome there for a little bit, but made it a little bit hard to breathe. Mm-hmm. Gonna have to get a 10 epi or something like that.
No, that's the wonderful thing about knowing oils, what stuff you need for, certain things. And we very quickly got an antihistamine in him and got some oils that are antihistamine properties, and he's okay now. And the other thing is Jason is very interesting. Like if he if he focuses on something, like is he's thinking about it, and I think a lot of people are like this, it makes it worse. So he started focusing on it, he was freaking himself out, and so I turned the TV on.
So this is where we're gonna go tonight.
Yep.
We're gonna go there.
Uh-huh.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I turned the TV on so that he could kind of get
I just want to make
distracted
sure
a little
I
bit.
understand the ground rules. I mean, if we just gonna start sharing,
That's not sharing. That's just
I mean, sharing
fact.
is caring, right?
Whatever. So
I mean, you could have shared that whole story and not thrown underneath the bus like that.
I'm not throwing you under the bus. But yeah, he it got a lot better after the antihistamine kicked in, the oils kicked in, and then he wasn't freaking out about it, because I don't know about you, but if I felt like I couldn't breathe, I would have panicked a lot worse than, and you didn't panic. You were just kind of like, I'm having a hard time breathing. And I was like, let's see what we can do. And then if we need to go, we'll go. But he just,
So, I was watching old Ben Holler's, or the Holler Homestead, and I was looking at him, and he showed the pigs that he got from us. And I'm like,
yeah.
dude, what are you feeding those pigs?
Yeah.
And so Ben and I had a conversation about what they do for the pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to give that a try.
Well,
because
we had already kind of talked about doing something similar for our chickens. And so we were already kind of on the path to going that direction. I feel like if we had not already talked about that, you would, I don't know that you would have jumped in as quickly as you did.
I mean, those pigs look good.
They do. And not that ours look terrible, but he's doing some things
different. The coat's
different.
real shiny on them.
Yeah.
They're very,
Was that the bump I just felt in the road?
they just look good.
Yeah.
All around good. And I'm kind of like, hold on, cuz.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Because right now you outdoing me. and so we sat down and he shared with us what they're doing, and so we're gonna give it a go. We got the stuff today to do it.
So we will definitely be doing a video on that,
Yep.
giving them credit, of course.
Of course.
And
I'm gonna say it just came to me when I was down in the
holler. So what happened to your hand? Tell everybody what happened to your hand.
I don't really know. We don't really know.
What's the speculation?
The speculation is yes, on paper we won World War II.
Are you serious right now?
But in the reality of the situation, we lost.
Oh, you're talking. I got
because anybody ever tried to work on a Toyota or a Hyundai, and you're a big dude like me with man hands, yeah.
Not happening. Industrial Homestead, welcome.
It's not a great fit. And I think I grabbed, when I was down in there with the water pump, I think my fingers grabbed a hold of something and pulled like this way. And as you guys know, I hurt both of my hands while I was in the Marine Corps. And it started swelling up right around in here. I mean, it got...
Yeah, his right around in the palm of his hand.
I thought I may have re-broke the area
where he had broken it originally.
Before. And Robyn and the girls put ice pack upon ice pack on it.
Well, I felt the round on it.
Yeah, I'm still upset with you about it. That's why I'm leaving that out, because that was just uncalled for. That was unnecessary.
How was it uncalled for?
Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? No. So then for you to cause that level of pain on me was just mean.
Okay.
Just mean.
I remember that.
It was just mean. It was just mean. That was you getting even with me for being right all the time. And so Robyn felt around on it, and she said she didn't feel like the bone was broken or...
I mean, if he had a break, it would have been probably a hairline, and I probably wouldn't have been able to feel it anyway. Right. But I was actually feeling more for because he said he felt like it pulled. Mm-hmm. So I was checking to make sure everything was still kind of in place where it was supposed to be, not out of sockets or anything like that. So, and everything felt like it was in its place. So, I wasn't so much feeling for broken bones because... Again, in those bones right there, more than likely it was going to be so small I wouldn't have probably been able to feel it anyway. But I was definitely trying to make sure that nothing was out of joint, And so at that point, it didn't feel like anything was out of place.
Look at all your nurse friends coming to your rescue. Look at them all. Better her do it than me.
Mm-hmm. So, well, she said that before on something else. I can't remember what it was. Your ears or something.
I'm always doing something.
I don't know. But anyway, so we did a lot of ice. We were going to shock it, but something happened and we decided not to.
I just couldn't get
the hot.
I got such man hands.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like Sydney from the Naked Garden. He got a little tiny Oompa Loompa hands. I got big man hands, and every big bowl that you brought in, I couldn't get my whole hand in
Yeah.
there.
Hey, so. Arthur. Woody! What's up, man? Man, all the people coming in now. Threw a ratchet on top of the engine anyhow and just hit right and went through the... Oh. And D! I love me some D. So anyway, we iced his hand down. We did a bunch of stuff. I gave him some naproxen for the anti-inflammatory. I mean, I did everything that I know to do. And Jason knows this stuff too because we were both athletes. So we've both had bumps and bruises along the way that we had to take care of as well. And so I just did everything that I knew to do for an injury. And the more I talked to him, the more it sounded to me like it was nerve-ish. It was a nerve thing. Because he had pain that was shooting up into his arm. And one of the things I had talked to Deanna from Naturally NC, who's also a nurse, and she was telling me that her husband has had something like that happen before where it started going numb and it started hurting up his arm. And she said that a lot of times with him, it's after doing a lot of repetitive stuff. And I started thinking, besides the working on the car, he had been on the lawnmower a lot, on the chainsaw a lot of vibration. And so I worried that he might have knocked something a little...
And it wasn't a Marky Mark good vibration either.
No, it wasn't. So I wondered if he, knocked something a little out of place, which is why when he went to his acupuncture appointment the following week, I was like, how is your hand feeling? Did he kind of jostle everything back into place? And it seems like everything is okay now.
We made the needles
What the heck is that?
What's what?
Is that just your bone for your...
What?
I don't know. That just looks like it's... Do you have a bite there or something? You feel that? It looks really... Anyway, sorry,
There's a
guys.
scar there.
Sorry. But anyway, so with his hand, we did a bunch of different stuff. We gave him anti-inflammatory, all of that. And then I finally, as a last resort, because he literally was like, I am in so much pain, I'm ready to, jump in the truck and drive all the way to Augusta. I will chance it. And I'm like... Okay, let me try CBD oil. And so I pulled out the CBD oil, put it on his hand, and I think it was a combination of that and his medication kicking in around the same time.
Yep.
That,
I woke up, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, he woke up the next morning and it was 9 o'clock. And he was like, I said, how's your hand? And he said, feels pretty good. I'm like, okay. So.
Yeah, so I probably, from the repetitiveness of taking the extension handle
and
on
then,
the socket.
Yeah, and doing all
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
And So, because on the Prius, you have to take out the windshield wipers, windshield wiper motor, the whole thing that it sits in. I don't know what that tray is called. Just to be able to get to the spark plugs. Just to be able to do a tune-up.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I have to change the water pump.
Hey, breakaway.
Water pump on it, and you have to take the passenger side front tire off. You got to take a little cover door off, and just to be able to get the 2 bolts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
So Niana said her youngest graduated from high school today. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Getting a suitcase as a grad gift. We've done that before.
Yes. Yep, with a note inside that said, "Get out."
TJ said him and his veteran dad are going to rescue a friend from the worthless VA. They are tossing him out in LA. Is that LA or Louisiana LA? So, but yeah, so that was the hand. The hand kind of put us, and that was another thing that put us behind
a day
as well. That whole day ended up being a wash because it was the nursery in the morning and that in the afternoon. So,
but in all, to be honest, we were ahead of schedule a little bit, and so I mean I don't feel like we're completely behind the 8 ball, because like with corn, everybody says knee high by 4th of July. We've got plenty of time for the corn to get that high.
We've got a month.
Yeah. So I think that'll be fine as long as we can get it into before the end of May.
Here's the other thing that I want to state. Everything is at least 2 weeks behind this year.
Yeah.
Everything I've noticed is at least 2 weeks behind. And so I'm not stressing about not getting my tomatoes in early. Not getting my peppers in early. Everything is at least 2 weeks. So
now I do want to kind of pump up the peppers because we're supposed to be going to get hot here next week, which concerns me a little. I'm a little bit worried about maybe another possible drought.
Buy industrial homestead.
A little bit of a drought situation here.
Yeah, we've got to get everything mulched because we're supposed to be 95, 96 this week.
Yeah. And so we did get some micro irrigation.
Yeah, Cheyenne life. There's a mass exodus of California going on, so you won't be the only one rescuing someone from California. It makes me wonder how long it will be before they stop people leaving.
And a mass exodus out of New York.
Yes.
Now, what bothers me...
They're all coming here.
No. What bothers me about this type of situation is a lot of those people voted those states into those current situations.
Oh, I know. And now they're coming here.
So now they're going to spread out through the country, and if they don't change their voting, it could really...
Yes,
I totally agree. Hurt some things.
I've actually had that conversation because of what I do. I have people come to pick out granite for their houses, and they I'll get into conversations with people who are moving from New York. They're moving from California, and for the most part, though, I'm excited about the people that I've talked to that are moving because they're moving because they didn't vote that way. So TJ says, I'm in California and can't leave till Dad either wants to leave or passes. Yeah. Lost, dude. We're only expecting upper 70s and low 80s next week. That's what I got to say about that. Oh, that's awesome. The doctor said he's cancer-free on his hip. Amazing, nice. Amazing. Yeah, well, today it was 86. But when we took out all those trees, yes, we now have full sun
But we have full sun.
But we have full sun. And so that we just have to be more, we have to plan better. And we definitely have to get everything mulched, because once everything is in there, you know, it works good. What would be a good stone countertop outside of granite? Granite. To be honest. The other alternatives are not as good as granite. That's just my opinion. Exactly. I'm a former East Tennessean, and I left because so many were coming into Tennessee from Florida, but really New Yorkers. They came in and then demanded tourism focus over the locals. Yep. Hey, lost dude, head this way. Didn't you have an interview or something out this way?
He did, I think.
I'm in Cheyenne, Wyoming for the past 6 years. The weather's different. I'm still waiting to get above 60s. My cucumbers and tomatoes are suffering. I bet. That's one thing Blaze is having to learn, is that
Really, TJ? Really?
is them the same
You know
trees
what?
that all
Christmas card list. I'm scratching your name off, man.
No, these are different ones. These are the ones that were in the middle of the front pasture.
Always got to bring up old stuff.
No. So.
But there is going to be a Jason tree falling adventure again coming this winter. And this time it may get the Big Bear Homestead into their dream house of geodesic domes, because it may fall on the house.
I told you my deductible was only $1,000, so not worried about it.
We got a quote to remove the 3 sweet gums that are real close to the house, and one of them's leaning real bad.
And because they can't get their equipment down in here, they would have to actually climb the tree, like scale the tree and cut it down. They
quoted us $4,000
for 3 trees.
For 3 trees, and
no. So I told you, he's like, it's $4,000. I'm like, deductible's $1,000. I know that's horrible, but like,
and I think I can do it without hitting the house. But if it hits the house, it hits the house. You know, they got to go because they're because either
they may hit the house anyway.
Because they're already dropping limbs.
We're getting ready to get into hurricane season. If anything blows the way that it blew last year, we could possibly have a problem before you felt them.
Yeah, they could fall themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them, the tops are kind of dead and everything.
Are you going to sell tickets to the Run Jason Run event?
We're not talking to him anymore. So.
Not TJ, April. You mean Lost Dude. He said he applied to 2 jobs but never heard from them. Yeah, that's one of the things that we have a problem with, is that there are so many businesses that are having to shut down, not because COVID killed them, it's because nobody wants to go to work. In our town, McDonald's.
Don't even get me started on that, because
McDonald's is advertising, and Wendy's is advertising. A couple of the local fast food restaurants are offering a $500 signing bonus. You
have to be there 90 days. You have to stay employed for 90 days, and you get a $500 bonus.
It's crazy.
Makes me want to go. Hi, welcome to McDonald's. Do you want some fries with that? For $500 for 3 months? Come on now. Plus a paycheck?
Trip H says, you've got tree ropes, I know.
You know, and I think one of the things that aggravates me the most is when you live in a town like what we live in, there are so many people that just want to take advantage of the current situation. I was in a convenience store and I asked the lady, you know, hey, you guys know me. I talk. You know, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Put a smile on your face. I'm not doing as good as some of those people sitting at home collecting unemployment, trying to get my butt fired so I can go home and collect it too. And I'm like...
Yeah, because they're getting...
Because she feels like they're making more money than she is.
And even... some that look at it and go, well, I might make $600 you know, at my job and I could get 600, you know, I make 700 a week, but I could get 600 for just sitting on my butt. I'll take the pay cut just to sit on my butt.
And I don't know. I don't really want to get on this horse, but you know, everybody runs across hard times. You know, I get that. We've run across them and we've been helped. You know, but it seems like you start to see the same faces or same screen names in your local Facebook groups, but you know, each month. I need help paying my power bill. I need help paying this. McDonald's, $500 sign-on bonus in 3 months, plus your paycheck. They're gonna work you at least 30 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so come on. But it's just, we got a lot of people that just I don't know. We've been talking with other people.
We've enabled, this country has enabled people to be lazy.
This is what happens when socialism starts to take over. I mean, didn't really want to go this way with the live stream, but I've seen it being in the military. I've seen it so many times. Is they benefit you to death, to where the people get this mentality of, I don't have to go to work, I don't have to do this.
Or they'll only work so much and they don't want to get promoted because if they make more money, they'll lose their benefits.
And the next thing you know, you got millions of jobs available, but nobody willing to work. And it's crazy.
Terry said, pray for me. I will have 3 teenage boys here tonight. We will definitely pray for you.
Yes, $4.25 was the minimum wage
in 93
when I started work.
Uh-huh.
In like 92.
See, by the time I was working in 94 or 95 is when they jumped up to $6.25. And now it's $7.25. There's a trucking company in Tucson that's paying $14,000 a week because they can't hire enough drivers. Look at that, $16 an hour at Wendy's in Massachusetts. Nobody's jumping at it. That's crazy to me.
Well, that tells you right there. Come on, people. That tells you that we are in the beginning stages of hyperinflation.
See, that's smart. Arkansas is looking at canceling all unemployment because there are more entry-level jobs open than there are people on unemployment. See, that's huge. Like
that's what's going to have to take to force people to go back to work.
Yeah. Look at that. My younger daughter just got a job at a nuclear facility in Chattanooga for $26 an hour. She has no experience ever working in a nuclear facility. That's awesome.
Well, look, we did a nuisance wildlife removal at a factory one time. Mm-hmm. And we got told that they have on staff like 40 or 50 licensed electricians. Mm-hmm. One of the electricians, he was making like $30, $40 an hour.
Yeah. His entire job
was changing light bulbs.
He was responsible for all the light bulbs in the facility. He had to walk the facility every day, and if there was a light bulb out, he had to change it. That was it.
That's all he did. All day long.
See, look at that. $16. That's what an entry-level LPN can make somewhere. Yeah. Yeah. So, back to homesteading.
Yeah. So, we talked about that a little bit to be able to say you have to kind of get your duckies in a row because the value of your dozen eggs is not going to change. Mm-mm. The value of your bushel of corn or bushel of tomatoes, that value doesn't change. It's the value of the dollar that's changing. And when you go to start pricing, price your stuff on the gold standard.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
So Jujubee said that's happening in New York. You have to apply 5 places a week, give them the contact info, and you can't turn down a job or benefits will stop if and when they call. However, Georgia's been doing that for years. And since we ran our own business, we saw the ugly side of that. Mm-hmm. People will call you, leave your information, and they will never get back to you But they have the information that they applied for the job.
To the point where I called the unemployment agency and I basically told them,
Stop sending people
to me. Because I literally had people that said, hey, call them about the job. Okay, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, I don't want the job.
I don't want the job.
Call.
I'm just calling, so we just got to have a conversation. No, we don't. Click.
So, yeah.
You know, or, and I flat out told them flat out, I only want vets. Oh, I went to the Veteran Administration and Unemployment. You're the only one that sends people to me. And it got to the point that I started scolding some of these vets because they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of gave some of them a tongue lashing. I said, do not do this. And,
you're better than that.
You're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
You represent something.
Yeah.
And had people show up for a construction job interview in flip-flops. Like, hello, what if I told you let's go to work? But my last sentence to everybody on the phone was dress to impress. Dress for a job interview. This is a job interview.
Mm-hmm. And still couldn't get anybody. So,
see, I want to start a fodder system too.
Cheyenne says, I expanded my garden size this year, added another garden plot, grew all of my own plants from seed this year, and I'm growing triple what I grew last year. I stress out if I lose one plant. Good for you.
Good for you, Cheyenne.
Dee said, I started a fodder system to subsidize our chicken feed. That's cool.
Yep. And because at the end of the day, when everything is going to go sideways like it's going to go, people who homestead, people who do this life, you know how everybody looks down their noses at you and think that you're a have-not? Well, I promise you, one, you're not changing. A have-not. Mm-hmm. But you're going to go from being the quote-unquote have-nots to the haves. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to have to try to feed a lot of people. Because they're not going to be able... Well, there's going to be food shortages everywhere due to it. Because people are not going to work in the processing plants. Truck drivers not willing to work.
Well, look at what the cat drug in.
Who?
Cheryl. I want to do a fodder system.
I want to do a fodder system too.
I do too. I just planted a bunch of seeds out of produce I got at the grocery store. It wasn't organic, and every darn thing I planted is growing. Well, that's nice. Good. But yeah, you can pretty much find seed. You don't have to, let's see. It's funny when Pettis truckers were some kind of heroes, but now since we can't keep up getting the gas to the stations fast enough, we're back to being a pain in the butt. Who's in their way? Right? It's amazing how that
go from
happens.
Hero to zero.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't, look, at the end of the day, it's always like what I think Jess always says, it doesn't really matter about your seed. Just get some seed in the ground. Get some seed in the ground, grow something, learn. Mm-hmm. Treat your garden like it's your classroom. We treat our homestead like it's our classroom.
Every day.
And we are learning stuff every day, whether it's about ourselves, whether it's about the ground, whether it's about... it was like me. I was just cutting down some brush today in an area, and I was just like, I wonder what I can do with this area. And God spoke to me. He said, put raspberries there. Put raspberries there. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. So I told Robyn, Robyn, we're going to put raspberries here. She's like, right here? And I'm like, God said, we're putting raspberries here. She's like, okay, we're going to put raspberries there. And so, by the end of this season, we'll have it all landscape fabric down, some good dirt there, and we'll put some shoots of raspberries.
I was thinking in that area right there, you were asking me earlier what we should do with it. I was wondering if at least just for this year, if we should put some pumpkins there to grow down that
God
hill.
didn't tell me to put pumpkins in.
Not where the raspberries are.
Oh,
the other
area?
side.
Yeah, I think we should because we're not going to be able to get all of that compost out of there.
Yeah.
Because they brought the wood chips in and jumped the gun.
Yeah.
And placed them there, so I wasn't able to get the tarps down. So that soil is worm infested.
Yeah, that's what I was
it's
thinking.
really,
would be
really
a
good soil, yeah.
I do love Bigger Creek seeds, however, and I buy a lot of them from there that I can't get anywhere else. I like great. Yeah. No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I get 4 pounds of food from 2 cups of wheat germ seed. I need to look into that.
Mm-hmm.
So Cheryl says, you have goats. They'll crop the raspberry canes down for you at the end of every season. I wondered about that. If we should...
Well, we're going to go over there to that area. We're going to do a heavy prune on the muscadines this year. We're going to do a heavy prune on those raspberries.
So Niana was asking if anybody else is having problems finding canning lids. I am not at this point. We're able to find them.
Are here.
I've been able to find them. I'm planting raspberries and blueberries this season. It's still a little too cold right now. Do y'all suggest anything that can grow on a north side?
Ooh.
I have very little southern exposure.
As in soft fruit? Is that what she's asking?
I'm assuming so.
I don't know. Blackberries wouldn't do.
I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of tough.
You know who to ask is the Naked Gardeners because they just moved into their homestead and they are doing a deep dive into soft fruit right now because they were asking us if we've ever tried the what was the one? Gooseberries.
Oh, I thought currant was
Currant,
one of them.
yeah, and currants.
Yeah, currants.
And stuff like that. So they're doing a deep dive
Yeah,
on
they're
soft
doing
fruit
stuff
stuff.
for permaculture. So definitely Sid's in here.
He would definitely be the one to ask because he'll know probably right off the top of his head right now because they're doing that deep dive.
TJ said, I find them here and there. I've got a collection of them I set aside for City Girl, but I think she forgot about them. He sent me some too. Did I send him the money? TJ, did I send you what I said I was going to send you? Because if not, I need to send that to you. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if I did or not.
Oh, you're such a slacker. And, okay, and then after we pull the pumpkins out, then you want to put the kiwi there?
Probably.
Because I want to do some kiwi.
Okay. Well, we had talked about putting kiwi down by the raspberries.
Yeah.
The other raspberries.
The other raspberries, but I don't know. I
Y'all
just
ever
feel
notice, like, if you feel hot, if you take your socks off, it just totally takes your body temperature back down?
I just want to bring...
Black and red currant on the north side. There you go.
See, I told you he knew.
Okay.
I told you he would know. No.
He would know?
He would know. He would know. And so, I think one of the best things that we have going for us this year is those Mean Girls that we got. Mean Girls and Barney.
What about them?
They are some eating machines. And I think when Betty and Wilma get a little bit older, they're going to be eating machines too because they kind of picked up their eating game here this week. And we are getting some massive areas cleared right now would just...
Which is funny because I wish you had recorded me saying absolutely not on goats. And I'm sure some of y'all that have been around for a while with us probably remember me saying absolutely not, no goats. We're not doing goats. We will not do goats. But after these guys, I actually said to him,
you want to get more?
We need more goats. And he was like, wait, what? It's almost like I see D is in here now.
Just show up when you want to.
And Delightful Cottage, what's up? So I imagine that's kind of like the conversation when, Dee tells Chris that they need more chickens, and he's like, oh, okay. And she's like, wait, well, what? So, But yeah, so
because they have really given us the ability. They have opened up areas for us.
Well, and not just that, but they're fertilizing that area too with all those droppings. They're putting stuff, you know. I have an older goat that looks pregnant but's not. Any suggestions on what might be wrong?
Left or right side?
We have goats. They are leaving. Uh-oh, where are they going?
Where are they going?
That's exactly what that's like. I know, right? Me talking about we need more goats. Like, what? But yeah, I know they can get bloat.
Yes, they can get bloated.
Pretty bad. One of the things that Jess always told me when she does anything with her both sides is that one of the first things she does is probiotics. She starts with like probiotics and stuff, and
W5 Family Farm. What's going on?
And starts with that to kind of help with the gut.
Yeah.
You know,
if it gets if you have a funny feeling that it may be bloat, you need to watch them. One of the things that you can do is take a garden hose, cut the end off of it, and make them swallow it.
Can you do that with a goat?
I think you can. Yeah, I mean.
Well, you're telling everybody you can. I'm not sure. We've never had to do it with a goat.
We've
had to do it with a cow.
Cow and a horse.
Yeah. So I mean, they're a ruminant. So.
Yeah.
But bloat is definitely, they're jumping 4 foot hot net. I love my garden more than them. A friend is buying them. They leave Monday, thank goodness. So that's one thing. We've been very fortunate. Ours.
They don't jump.
Well, they do, but they're dwarfs, so they can only jump so high. They have to be able to climb to get on things to jump. So I treated her for bloat. No luck. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
They got to be eating something that's making them do that.
Making them get gassy.
As long as they're up walking around.
Look, if both sides in goats deworm and give probiotic. See, that's what I was saying, prebiotic, and deworm them. So that's what she always told me is the first thing she did was deworm and prebiotics, whatever. So, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. She said she lost Billy. Yeah, one thing that I've noticed with ours is, yes, they can get up, like they can actually get up, but they have to be able to jump onto something, to jump onto something, to jump on it. You know, like they can't just flat foot jump 4 feet. So we've been fortunate. They don't test the fence. They don't jump the fence. And the thing is we don't put anything close to the fence line that they could jump onto to jump over.
Right.
So that's what we do with them, and we also move them fairly regularly so they don't get bored. So they are flat footing over it. I really wanted them for broadleaf weeds in the pasture, but nope.
Tasha's here. Hi, Tasha.
Hey, Tasha.
Tasha, don't believe your husband when he tells you that we went out looking at land.
From my understanding, if a goat or sheep gets hold of wilted clover, that it will bring the bloat on within minutes. I used to have sheep. We'll never go there again. Sheep just die if you look at them sometimes. It's the same way.
I don't know.
Turkeys.
I got 2 sheep that won't die. I got 2 sheep that are over 7 years old. They just won't die. I'm going to end up making them turn them into dog food this winter.
Nubians and Toggenburg are the big jumpers, as I can attest. Yeah, so we don't have any Nubians.
Yeah, Homestead in the Highlands, she knows her goat and sheep.
Yes, she really does. But yeah, that's part of the reason, like, I won't go into the bigger, like, that's why I'm okay with these guys, is because they're smaller and they can't jump the way that, the bigger goats can. So.
But there's some eating fools.
Yeah,
we're going to be, tomorrow, we're moving them into another area to where when they start doing their thing, we're going to run the pigs right behind them, so that way it uproots a lot of the briars and whatnot. And boy, oh boy, then that's where we're going to be placing our nut trees. We're going to start planting nut trees back in there. Get some more pecans, Chinese chestnuts, walnuts.
Yep.
Just start running them down the road. And then with talking with the Naked Gardeners, how they're going to be doing their fruit trees. I think we're probably going to do the same thing with our nut trees and possibly with our fruit trees, just for ground cover. Like, which, the Naked Gardeners are really doing a lot. If their plans come through, they're definitely a channel to watch right now.
Definitely be watching them because there's a lot of change that's going to happen.
And they've jumped. They're all in on this Homestead game, and they're gonna be bringing a whole different perspective and a different way of thinking into homesteading. I believe that is what the homesteading community needs.
Well, they're certainly doing the aging in place. Like, that's something we're having to start thinking about as well. And so they're starting with a brand new
homestead canvas
that they can make their own and do it the way that, they need to do it. You better plant a couple of oaks.
So they're definitely.
Woody says goats have more personality than any farm animal. I don't know.
Pigs have a good personality.
I was gonna say I've got some crazy pigs that are pretty funny.
Well, why are you nervous, Amanda? Anybody that is a YouTuber creator will tell you, start a channel.
Yeah.
Just film something.
Yeah.
Boo.
I think these are sienna and boar.
And your people will come.
I had them out of the barn in the knitting and was standing watching them. They were behaving. Somebody came up the driveway and they jumped out. So, yeah. I gave up trying to keep my goats in a paddock. They just free range these days. Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all follow Cheryl on Instagram, but I love it because she does these things where she opens up her door to her house. And it's like, who's going to be at my door every morning? Like, when she gets up, she'll open the door, and sometimes, sometimes there's goats, sometimes there's a peacock running around. Like, it's the funniest thing. Aging in place, I feel like they're going to be mad at you. Well, they are, and we are too. We're all about the same age, so. Their seed starting mixed blend is why my garden is doing so well. Yeah, you definitely check that out. He does a pretty in-depth video on how to make that seed starting mix. I cured myself from, well, there you go. I didn't know you could have blood cancer. Huh. Can't free range. We have huge fields besides us and they would be gone. Yeah. That's one of the things we're fortunate is that we have good solid fencing for the most part around our property. So even if the goats temporarily get out, they're okay because they're not leaving the property.
Yeah. So back to what the goats are doing for us. That I'm really excited about getting these things in and doing this permaculture style food forest around our nut trees. We're doing it around our blueberries now because you looked up companions for the blueberries and we figured.
Well, what happened is when we went and did that thing at Beggs, and we had all of this leftover thyme, English thyme that I had picked up, I said, I wonder what, like, where we could put that, because it's a ground cover. And so I kind of went down this rabbit hole, and the next thing I knew, I was looking at oregano, and oregano works with blueberries. And so we have decided, we gave all of the herbs that were out of control a haircut last week. And so I took some of that, and instead of drying it out, I put it in a jar, and we're going to propagate some of those plants, or some of those stems, into plants so that I can spread those and let those grow around the blueberries. Does McMurray sell hatching eggs? I think they do on some things, not necessarily everything.
Now, when you looked up that oregano, what do you know? What made them companions? Does oregano like return some acidity to the soil, because blueberries love acidity?
Yeah, I know that, but I don't think I saw any reason why. That they were.
Yeah, that we're gonna Delightful Cottage. We're definitely gonna be doing that, and because I missed the opportunity, because I wasn't expecting it. The areas that they just got done cleaning out for us, and I wasn't expecting them, and I don't know why I wasn't really expecting them to do what they did, but I wasn't, and so I didn't take any before shots. So tomorrow we're going to be taking the camera out and getting them and getting the before shots, and then we're going to make the pass so that they can start eating away all of that stuff, and they absolutely love it.
Yeah. There's one area where we used to have, if you look in really old videos, we used to have our composting area, and no, we did not. In that composting area, it had grown over in nothing but briars, and we turned Betty and Wilma loose in there, and it was, they cleaned it out super quick.
Delightful Cottage asked, does anybody get coffee grounds
from a coffee shop for
compost? We used to.
And then they kind of locked that down.
They locked it. We used to get it from Starbucks.
Yeah.
And Anderson, the one manager girl that was working there, used to
hook us up.
Yep,
we'd get trash bags full.
Loaded.
Yeah. I actually did, I don't know if you saw, I did a video on different ways to do compost, fertilizer stuff for your plants, and one of the things in there was about coffee. We did not get cuttings from the elderberries. Mm-hmm. I don't even know where they are, because I haven't been back there when everybody was looking, so.
I'll have to take you back there. We have an elderberry forest.
Yeah. Basil, oregano, and thyme act as a living mulch, controlling temp and weeds and moisture. So that's what I was thinking is that that would help at least with weeds, because when it grows like a carpet. And so I figured that's what it was mostly for. And it was funny because I was talking to Dee about it, and she was like, we were talking about it, and I told her, and she was like, how funny, because I was just thinking about that. And so now she's redoing where she put everything so that she can just go ahead and put, put that there. So please tell me, that it is supposed to keep the weeds at bay. They're currently fighting out in my herb patch. The weeds brought out the big guns. Yeah, I am noticing that the oregano that I had in all of my beds are actually choking out the weeds. So I think it should be, it probably will I think overall it will probably choke them out. My blueberry pants and my containers. So yeah, we went ahead and put ours in the ground, and we had put pine straw down for the acidity for the blueberries, but it's not a very good weed barrier. And so we had weeds growing all in there. And so I think if we go ahead and take these oregano and get it all set up, I think, over time it will.
Well, I mean, you processed that. I'm sorry. You processed that oregano, and you got what, a quart?
I got more than a quart. That was just that one round.
Well, it was just that one bowl. Oh.
Yeah, I still have the bowl that I did this afternoon.
Oh, you didn't
And
know
then-
all this?
And then I have the stuff still in the dehydrator that I got to pull out
Wow.
after we get out of here. So I've probably got 2 quarts worth of oregano now. Dried oregano. So
That's awesome.
we've got plenty. And
mint.
I'm getting ready to get pounding on the mint, because I think what I'm probably going to do, depending on how this mint turns out, I'm probably going to start cutting like maybe once a month and give it a nice little shear, because like where Carol's window is right now, it's almost up above the windowsill now. Like it's tall. It's above my knee. It's almost up to my thigh now. And so it's pretty tall. So I think I'm going to cut it back some, because I have some echinacea plants in there. And there's one in there that's kind of struggling a little bit. So I figure if I cut them down a little to where the sunlight can get in there to that echinacea, that'll be good. So.
Delightful Cottage. Next year, just plan on coming up here, and we'll get you some cuttings.
Froze 3 gallons of mint? What do you mean froze it? What did you...
She put it in the freezer.
Like 4 or 5 different... I grow, like 4 or 5 different varieties of basil. I have purple, red, mammoth, my own basil seeds that are going in their 5th year, sweet basil, Italian basil. Okay, more than 5. So we have the purple basil. We have the mammoth, or the lettuce. I'm sorry, the lettuce basil. We have sweet basil. I want to say we have a 4th, like an Emily. It's another sweet basil, Emily basil. So we have like 4. But we have like 10, 15 plants if you add them all together. So, but we have a lot of mint and a lot of oregano. So we will probably cut again in the fall, in the fall before it gets, we'll cut it back pretty good then too. Because it seems to do really good in the wintertime. The oregano does. It does better in the cool weather. So, at least for me it does. The mint I'm just taking back. But I mean, I know it'll take over an area. But like for it to have filled that bed the way that it did, if you think about what it looked like last year, because basically I had put like a lavender plant in there. I had a couple of different types of plants in there. And then I took some of the mint that we had over by the barn rooted it and put it in there. And it was just like 2 or 3 little plants. And now the entire bed is nothing but mint and echinacea. So Mrs. Naked Gardener loves the lettuce basil. She came up with a great idea to plant it with the tomatoes to use as a ground cover. Yeah. So
I'm really.
Huh. Might need to try that too.
So you're really not going to talk about it?
About what?
About what you took me over to see today?
Oh, no. We'll do it in the garden tour.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we picked a crate full and stuffed 3-gallon bags pretty full. Pushed out the air and freeze. Works like dried, but a bit more flavor. A 7-year-old was gifted 6 kinds of Baker Creek basil. This will be the year of the basils. She's most excited about the blue spice. The idea of vanilla undertones in a basil. Yeah, I have a ton of them. I just haven't started all of them. I did the ones that we had. I have a tough time growing mint. I have sweet mint and lemon mint. Lemon mint is struggling. The sweet mint is draping like a weeping willow and huge. So I think I will go with the sweet mint. I have a raised bed that is just mint now. Love it. Yeah, that was the thing. Once I decided to not fight the mint and just let it be its own thing and take over that bed, like, it's great because when you walk by it, like, it's the most pleasant smell ever. When is the garden tour video? Next Thursday. Well, this Thursday coming up. We'll put it out on, it'll be out on Thursday. Yep. And it's probably going to be a little bit longer of a video. And
we're following your lead with some stuff there, Sid. We're going to try sunchokes in a grow bag.
We are?
Mm-hmm.
So that will be out on Thursday, and I figured I'd do kind of a longer video because it's Memorial Day weekend. People will actually have the time to sit down and watch that. So,
I mean, there's so much. You got over 40 plus raised beds, plus the big garden.
Yeah. So Arthur, if you're still here, Arthur, Lonely Prepper, he had sent me. I don't know if you guys remembered. We had asked about some Star of David seed. And he had sent me some, and so I went ahead and germinated, did a germination test on it just to make sure that it would germinate before I put it in the ground. And I pulled 6 seeds out of the packet that he gave me, and all 6 seeds germinated. So I put them straight in the ground. So I'm looking forward to that as well, having those.
Yeah, I love that Star of David.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely love that okra.
Yeah. So.
You are still a little upset with Jessica Sowers about that.
I really am, because I was even telling somebody about this yesterday when I was at work.
Because the girls and I love to eat that Star of David.
I would start first thing in the morning. I would leave for work, and they're right as I walked out the door. I would see them, and I'm like, okay, this afternoon we will pull those, and they will be ready for fried okra for dinner. Like, I'm ready. And if you've ever grown okra before, you know that you can't turn your back on it because it will go woody overnight. So I was all excited. We're going to have fried okra for dinner. I come home, I walk by the bed, and there is no okra on the bed. I mean, on the plant. And I looked at it.
That was breakfast.
And I looked at Jason, and I looked at the girls, and I'm like, did you guys go ahead and pull the okra for dinner? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, did you harvest the okra? Oh, yeah, we harvested it in my belly. I'm like, ah. So, yeah. But that was crazy. Does anyone have experience with ground cherries, and are they really that good? I hate this extra space if they're not impressive. I'll give you my opinion, but I want to wait and see if anybody else has any. If anybody
that was that kind.
I grew 2 different kinds.
Well, the other kind was good, wasn't it?
We have to check on the okra twice a day. Yeah, that was the thing. It was morning and evening. Like, I knew in the morning it wasn't ready.
I'm telling you, that Star of David raw is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get a little bit over the texture part of it, but I like it better raw than I do fried or in a gumbo or anything like that. I can eat it raw like an apple all season long.
Nope. Cheyenne Live, it looks like nobody else is going to jump on the ground cherry wagon. We grew ground cherries last year. One thing I will say is they are extremely prolific. Extremely prolific. They will drop berries everywhere. Ground cherries, whatever, everywhere. You'll have them all over the place. I did not like the flavor. And I didn't like the texture much either.
Well, I didn't like the fact that if you could grab one and it could taste like a camel's backside, but then you could grab another one and it tastes really good.
I never had one that tasted really good.
You must have got the camel backside plant then or something.
I don't know.
That must have been the one that Sydney did his mumbo jumbo.
I was not excited about ground cherries. I was excited at the beginning of the year for ground cherries. And by the end of the year, no. I love okra chips. Bought Tasha a dehydrator, and now not going to get any this year, unfortunately. Yeah, that sucks.
I like eggplant chips.
Yes.
And kale chips.
Yes.
If you don't like the way kale tastes, dehydrate them. Put some put a little bit of oil, olive oil on them, and then trickle some seasoning on them, and stick them back in the dehydrator.
Yeah, that's what we did with pretty much everything. Is we would toss it in a little bit of olive oil with some cayenne pepper and some garlic salt. Is what we would put in on them, and give them a little bit of a. I'm with you on the taste. Yeah, they were not my favorite as far as flavor goes.
I'm telling you, I think that the plant that you ate off of was like the greens that we got from Sydney where he washed his feet in them. I think he probably just put his feet in the soil and they went sour.
I didn't like them. So.
But I love eggplant chips, and I love the
I think Cheyenne. I think what it basically is like it's this little snack. It's one of those things that you can just snack on when you're in the garden. But I would much prefer a cherry tomato. So cherry tomato is much better than a ground cherry. So I wasn't crazy about them. But if you did like the flavor, then man, it's a great plant because it drops so many. I
think we just should try a different variety than the two varieties that we. I feel like we're missing out.
Well, that's just like tomatillos. I want to master tomatillos, and it's the same thing. It's that husk, with the berry in it. And the thing is it has to have a lot of water. And that may have been part of the thing with the ground cherries, is they didn't get a lot of water. Uh-huh.
That might be the reason why some of them tasted bad for me. I didn't know I had to take a husk off.
Yeah, it looks like a Chinese lantern. You have to take it off.
Ate the whole thing. That might be the ones that tasted bad for me.
I don't know. You're supposed to take the little husk thing off.
Oops.
Yeah, no, they're definitely. I mean, you possibly could can and cook and store them, and they may be good if you add some sugar, on some things when you preserve them and put them in sugar or something. They might be good for pastries or something like that, but.
Just like that, the Cosmos tomato that we grew last year, the one that looked like the universe looked like it had stars.
Dark Galaxy.
Yeah, that one wasn't that great. I was very disappointed in that one.
I'm trying 5 purple tomatillos. They're supposed to be really, really good, sweeter than. So I'm gonna do there's 2 purples that I have. There's a small one and then a regular size one, and then I'm doing 2 green tomatillos.
But we didn't do the real big one though, right? We just did the little one.
What?
That Cosmos tomato.
Are you talking about the ones that got to be about that big?
No, I'm talking about the ones that were that big.
Those were the Cosmic Eclipse then.
Yeah.
It was like a grape cherry, kind of like a grape size cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I between that and the blueberry cream tomatoes, both of those I was not surprised.
I want to try the big Cosmos tomato this year.
That's Dark Galaxy.
Dark Galaxy.
That's what they're called. I've got some of those that I was going to plant.
Yeah,
so.
I want to try those. Okay, honey, well, we've been on here for an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had dinner yet.
We haven't had dinner yet. So.
That's why my stomach is freaking out. Because we ate lunch at 2 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyway.
Okay, so you heard it from Robyn. Garden tour on Thursday. Be looking for that as long as she does not upload it and make it come out on Wednesday. She did that this week, y'all. That's why y'all had a video on Monday.
Sorry, y'all. Yeah, it showed up on Monday instead of Tuesday. And as soon as it dropped, I was like, ah!
So.
Yeah, stop talking about haggis, y'all. You're going to make me throw up before dinner.
So, I'll be looking for the 2 videos again this week. One of them, she's already let out the bag. It's going to be the garden tour. And so the video will be dropping sometime on Tuesday and Thursday. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then be back here again on Saturday.
Yep. And it'll be Memorial Day weekend, so we'll look to see bunches of y'all. One real quick thing before we leave. Wakatomica Homestead, his wife was actually in the hospital. We had put it on the Big Bear Nation for a prayer request. I've been in contact with him. He got sick as well, but didn't need to go in the hospital. So they've been kind of having a rough time of it the last week or so. But he wanted me to tell y'all that she is home from the hospital and they're doing good, and to thank everybody for their thoughts and prayers. So.
And definitely keep the Louisiana folks in your prayers. I talked with Broussard this week, and they had a bunch of flooding and stuff in their town, and there's a part of Louisiana that's getting hammered right now with flooding because one of the flood things broke.
Flood barriers broke outside of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so
Baton Rouge.
You got friends or family in Louisiana, reach out to them. It's not near Brett. He's like an hour and a half away from it, so we praise God for that. But pray for him.
Definitely.
And there was something else that we needed to pray for him. Feeling like such a schmuck right now.
We'll put it up on the prayer wall.
Yeah. Make sure you come check out the Big Bear Nation Facebook group. Also, congratulations. Robyn has been working really hard on the Instagram, and we have 2,000 followers now. What's your next milestone goal?
I'll be realistic and go to 2,500. Well, let's knock out to 25. It took me a long time to get to 2,000, so I want to kind of be conservative with it. I don't want to make it too far out of reach, but I'd like to get to 2,500 by the end of the year.
Yeah, and we're slowly creeping up on another milestone goal for the channel of 30,000 subscribers.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. And so we will keep you guys posted. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We enjoy this time that we get to spend with you guys. And Robyn and I always want to remind you to plant smiles.
Grow giggles.
And harvest the love, baby. Yeah. Recycle, reuse, repurpose. Keep stuff out of the landfill. And we will see you guys next time.
Bye, y'all.
God bless.